My name is Jonah.
And I'm Christian.
And I missed you, buddy, I gotta say.
I'm back.
That last episode was a bit of a struggle, I cannot lie.
How many times did you cut and start?
It was pretty smooth. It was so late when I did it. And I was about halfway through it. And every couple of seconds, I was like ready to toss it off to someone for them to make a point. And I'm like, oh, wait, I got to keep going with this. I just got to keep yapping for the next 30 minutes.
You just got to keep rambling while your dog does circles around the basement.
Yeah.
Just doing laps.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I was telling Christian, when I was recording that episode, my dog was circling around me like a tornado for at least a half hour, and the mic kept picking it up. So that was a bit of a struggle, but we still got it out.
Nice bridge podcast.
Nice bridge. It was only, I think two. Well, actually, no. I actually did recap quite a few games because we kind of went on, I don't want to call it a hiatus, but we had to wait a little bit to record. And I guess this is more of the bridge, I suppose, because the Sabres have played 2 games since. One against the Devils, one against the Avalanche, going 1-1 in that stretch. But I would say overall, pretty encouraging two-game stretch here.
Yeah, 2 solid performances out of the Sabres. I would say that it is disappointing that we lost to New Jersey the way we did. It was really back and forth all game. We kind of got boat raced at the end. There's some bad... I feel like there was a couple of bad bounces that went our way. Just like that 5th goal that went in. Like, I was going to dog on UPL about it, but it also got tipped like 3 times. It was redirected on the way into the net. So it was... I knew they were going to break my heart in that game. I was watching the game with my dad, and I was like, they just tied it up. I was like, they're setting me up for disappointment. What do you know? The Devils squeak by with a win. Disappointing, but it was an encouraging performance, and it was something to build upon going into their next game.
You want to talk about bad bounces. How about Dougie Hamilton sending one right over the glass?
Oh, yeah, all that.
Granato is screaming at the refs already, and then seconds later, UPL does the same thing, which was a penalty. Like, he sent it right over. But
come on, like, don't make that call. Like, you knew you messed up on the first. Maybe they didn't know. I don't know. Maybe the refs are just that bad.
How do 4 guys miss that?
I have no idea, but that was extremely frustrating to watch.
Very tough game to lose, but I gotta say, like you said, that they did get kind of boat raced at the end there, at least in terms of shots. I thought it was a bit misleading. I didn't feel like the Devils were really getting that many continuous chances with those, 18 or so shots in the third, but they definitely felt like the Sabres were starting to run out of gas. But at least the 2 periods before that was a fun hockey game.
Oh yeah, the first period was extremely exciting to watch. The complete opposite of Islander hockey. It was so entertaining to watch. Like, it was. Even one of the announcers, he called it what was it, fire wagon hockey? What is it?
Was that the Devils announcer?
No, okay. Well, it wasn't a national game. It was Dunleavy who said it. He said it was fire wagon hockey.
Fire wagon hockey. It's a good way to put it.
But yeah, it's fun to watch. But yeah, they you could see in the third they ran out of steam. They had. I could count the shots on one hand. They had 3 shots. One of them went in. It was Cousins' shot.
One got in.
And that was with 7 minutes left.
So you're thinking, here comes the pity point, and they don't even get that.
Man, I wish that would have been nice. I was hoping that game would get to OT.
Yeah.
We haven't seen much OT this year.
No. I think just the one game against Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, if we want to move on to the Colorado game. Pretty similar story, honestly. Great game from the Sabres at 5-on-5, and I guess not the same story. They get a great goalie performance from Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Yeah.
First career NHL shutout. And the Sabres shut out one of the league's best teams, 4-0.
Yeah, the Avalanche through the last 2 games have been outscored 8-0.
No goals.
Yeah, they haven't put the puck in the net in over 2 games now. Well, it's going to be when they play their next game. But, yeah, I give props to UPL for the shutout. It was a long time coming. He's been in the league for a while.
He deserved that one.
He deserved it.
Especially all the flack he was getting after the Devils game, which, from ourselves included.
I think it was deserved.
You know what? But I guess before we go back to we continue with the Colorado game, why don't we touch on that? UPL against New Jersey. Eric Comrie starts the game, playing great.
Yeah.
And two goals got past him, but playing great, was robbing the Devils on multiple occasions, and then all of a sudden in the second period does something to his right side.
Injury, yeah.
It wasn't something. It wasn't obvious. Even when you watch the replay, it just kind of happened.
No, yeah, he went to hug the post, and then he pushed off, and then he made that kick save with his right pad, and then he just looked like he kind of. I don't know if it was him going into the post that did something, or him coming back over and like kicking his leg out did something, but he went down and he looked like he was in some pain because he was calling for the ref to stop play. He couldn't get up.
Something had to have popped.
Yeah, but I mean, we probably would have known by now if he needed surgery. It's been a few days. It's looking like a week-to-week type of injury, but
so see you in March or April.
Feels like it probably. I'm gonna say January. But yeah, it's just unfortunate because Comrie, like, again, he was playing well. I didn't have anything, like, after taking over for Levi, I didn't have too much to dump on him about, and it's just unfortunate that he's injured again. And I mean,
through what, 9 games now, right? The Sabres, 9 games, probably their best goaltender.
Yeah,
and yeah, that just stinks for a guy like him who's been looking for that consistent chance and was finally looking to get it. He was kind of starting to emerge as maybe not their true starter, but he was getting more starts, and obviously that happens, and it's such a tough blow to him. But UPL comes into the game, immediately has to face a shorthanded breakaway. That gets put past him.
Yeah, no chance for him. Well, I was going to say no chance for him, but like the way he played it, he gave himself no chance to stop that puck.
I don't know if I've ever seen the guy stop a breakaway. I know he has. He definitely has, but it feels like he just doesn't, like he shrinks.
He makes himself look so small. He crouches down. The way he crouched down on that goal.
He got so low for that goal.
Yeah.
And we're not exactly goalie experts.
No, I definitely am not.
I'm not claiming to be, but man, it feels like he gets so low to the ice sometimes and so crunched up into a smaller position that I don't know. It feels like it makes it harder for him to stop goals like that. But Eric Halla puts one past him, and by the end of the game, 2 more had gone past. I mean, I guess the Jack Hughes goal that's the one I'm like, can I get a save on that one, please? Because here's the thing. Tough position for UPL to come in from. Comes in cold. Wasn't expecting to play that night. But how long had it been till he'd entered the game? How long are you going to be cold for? Like he was in, but he was good to go by that point.
By that point you're in. Like getting thrown. I hate the excuse getting thrown in cold because yes, I mean if you go in, get a couple shots to get comfortable, but I was listening to Devin Cooley's press conference after the Avalanche game or before or whatever, and he said when he got called up, it's the backup goalie's job to be ready the entire time. You gotta be mentally prepared as a goaltender to go into the game for injury. So this getting quote thrown in cold, it's your job to go in if you're playing backup. I understand maybe you haven't faced shots. You're still out there for the 20-minute warm-up period, aren't you? And then you go into the game, and you know what? Maybe the first few shots you're a little shaky. I give you a pass.
Breakaway against Eric Halla.
That's fine.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
that's on the Sabres.
I would have liked him to see it play it better, but again, that should not even have been a situation he should have been in. But yes, the Jack Hughes goal.
It's like 10 minutes into the third. There's nobody in front of him. I saw some debate. There might have been a tip, like a slight tip. Even then, I need a blocker on that, and I will put my stake in the ground on that one. The fifth goal goes off Samuelson, stupid deflection, whatever, move past it. I think he finished the night with negative 1.3 goal save above expected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to blame the loss on him. The Sabres didn't have a good enough third period. That doesn't mean he played good. He didn't help them win that game.
No, I agree with you. I don't think he helped them win that game at all. And it just seemed like after that game that my expectation was like at an all-time low for him. Like you've seen it before. I was just like, write this guy off. I'm done. But came into the Avalanche game. Obviously, he didn't write back because he got his first shutout. And he played well. I'll give him credit for that.
He played well.
Now, sample size, very, very small, as we've seen in the past. So you're not changing my opinion on this guy yet. I don't care if he has one shutout. I don't care if he won you that game. The whole team played great, but
he did what he had to do.
And I need consistency out of him.
If he can do that, not shut out teams every game, but like Christian said, he only faced 24 shots. It wasn't a big workload, but he did what he was asked to do. That's all you can ask for. If he does that on a consistent basis, I'm not going to yell at him. And I know I'm kind of stereotypically hard on goalies, especially UPL in particular, but he played great against the Avs. I will not take that away from him. Congrats on your first NHL shutout. That's awesome. And as we continue on here with the status of Devin Levi kind of being up in the, I don't want to say up in the air, but we don't know how he's feeling currently. Luukkonen might get more starts here.
He's probably going to play Wednesday.
Over the next week or so.
Yeah.
So if I can get Colorado, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, I'm happy. I'm a happy man.
It's a good sign that Cooley got sent back down. That pretty much means that Levi is going to be back at practice. They said Tuesday, so that would be tomorrow from when we're recording this.
Probably not. Probably today when you're listening.
Yeah, today when you're listening. I'm also interested to see how I'm interested to see how Levi comes back from this injury. I hope he's not, a different goalie.
I'm curious to see how they manage him now.
You think they give him a lighter workload?
I would imagine they don't do 4 games in 8 days again.
No, I don't know.
I'm not going to blame the injury on the Sabres. 4 games in 8 days, a lot, especially for a rookie goalie. It's not an Iron Man workload, but it's more than he should have had. So I'm curious to see what they do here. If UPL keeps playing confident, do we see a more 50-50 stretch? Maybe.
Well, I was gonna say like that 4 games and 8 days stretch that they went through. From what we've heard in the past, when we were trying to get Levi signed, isn't that kind of what him and his agent wanted, though? They didn't want them to bring in another goalie that was going to take games away from him because they're like, bet on yourself always. His agent was like, this guy is the guy, and he wants the games. And obviously, if you're an organization, you could take that with a grain of salt. Yeah. You're going to manage him the way you're going to manage him. But they were like, okay, and they gave him a shot. And you know what? He's young. Maybe that contributed to a little bit of an injury. Maybe he exacerbated something. Maybe he played too many games, in a short amount of time. But I'm not saying that, like, this isn't what he wanted because Devin Levi wanted this, and he got it, and he got hurt. I think we do see a more balanced lineup going forward. Hopefully that doesn't disgruntle him in any way, because I know he still wants to have a majority of the games. As a competitor, of course you do, and especially as a goalie. But knowing the Sabres, knowing Kevin Adams, I don't think they're going to rush him back. And with Donnie being the coach, I bet you we do see a more balanced goaltending rotation going forward, at least for the short term.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be 50-50. At least, I think until Levi gets his legs back under him again, pun not intended, because that's probably what he hurt. Until he gets going again, that I wouldn't take the next 6-7 games as anything meaningful in terms of like trying to get an impression of what the workload's going to look like. But I what I'm saying is I'm assuming Levi, he's still the guy. They did not spend the whole summer banking on him to be the guy for only 4 games in for them to determine that he's no longer the guy. I hope UPL keeps playing the way he's playing. At the same time, what we've seen from him in the past is as soon as he starts getting that huge workload, he can't keep up. So I think it would be better off. Hopefully Levi does take over the crease. I honestly think it would be better for UPL. Hopefully he's not asked to do more than he needs to. Hopefully he's just tasked to do what he had to do Sunday against the Avs. Because if we want to jump over to the team as a whole, the Buffalo Sabres can play defense.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a big issue with them for a long time. But the penalty kill, I know we'll get into it more in a little bit, but team defense has greatly improved. Tage Thompson, complete turnaround from last year defensively.
Selke caliber. Dude is an absolute unicorn.
And I'm sure...
what is this progression?
It is weird.
Worst player in the league, 38 goal scorer. You're thinking, okay, we got a nice player here. Then all of a sudden, 47 goals, 93 points, but still one of the worst defensive players in the league. So you're like, all right, we know what we got here. No, you don't know what you got here. Apparently, now this guy is seemingly sacrificing points in the name of shutting down the opposition.
Which I can get behind. The offense will come with him.
It's already starting
You
to.
You saw the goal in New Jersey. He's still that guy. He still makes those plays. But it's better. I'll take a more well-rounded player, especially if he's playing the way he is on the defensive side of the puck, than fire wagon, Tage Thompson, cheat in the zone, basically looking for the home run pass, not playing any defense, not back checking.
That Tage Thompson is probably a bit more fun, though, I do got to say.
It will, yeah, 100% it'll be more fun. That guy will get you more points, but he's going to cost you more points, too.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, him and Dylan Cousins, they've been great on the defensive side of the puck. And, like, the penalty kill, come on. 6 for 6 against the Avs. I feel like anytime I looked away from the game, they took another penalty. And I was just like, oh my Lord. I was like, guys, stay out of the box.
I'm fairly certain they're one of the biggest. They have one of the worst differentials in the league.
In penalties?
I don't know if they're just being undisciplined. I don't know if it's just they're getting unlucky. It probably lies somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But yes, their PK is being tested early. And it's passing with flying colors. It's passing with flying colors. I get excited to watch it.
Sometimes
I'm a sicko.
too.
I'm a sicko. I'm like, I can't wait to see Tage Thompson and Jordan Greenway lock down anything within a 20-foot within a 20-foot wingspan.
You got those big boys out there, yeah.
I mean, seriously, you want to talk about why the penalty kill is kind of thriving? It's all new personnel.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not just talking. I mean, you're talking about Eric Johnson and Connor Clifton, but you're also talking like Tage Thompson wasn't penalty killing that much last year. Jordan Greenway was not at all, and once he got here, he looked like a lost puppy because he didn't know the system, and even that system was terrible. They had to switch it. So that's where this improvement's coming from.
Yeah, the penalty kill last year consisted of Bryson and Yoki with Oposo and Girgensons usually. It was
which most of hey, Oposo and Girgensons still killing penalties. It mostly lied with the back end, especially once Samuelson would go down. And even the one thing that he was brought in for, Lyubushkin, either couldn't stay on the ice, and he didn't have a good season, so they didn't get help from there either. And on top of that, it wasn't a good system.
No.
They just. It felt like they weren't covering anything.
It was a sit back and try and block a shot.
Very passive.
Very passive. Now they have like a power kill going on almost. They're right in the defender's face. They're getting in front of shots. They're being aggressive in the corners. It looks a lot a lot better. When you can get a power play running around in a bad way, where they're scrambling to make a pass and they can't really get settled, that's the job. That's a good PK at work. If you sit back like they did last season and let them, cycle the puck, you're gonna get walked all over, and that's what happened. They got walked all over last year, but they changed it up this year, and it's got to be top 5 in the league right now, right?
I know they were 7th, I think, when I recorded the last episode.
That was before the Avalanche game,
and even the Devils game, I think only one got in, and even that goal that got in, that was a Jack Hughes shot, which was unscreened, and just found its way to the net from the point.
Yeah.
I can only think of a few times they've been beaten cleanly. I think of the Kreider goal on opening night, and the one against Montreal late in the game where it was tic-tac-toe. That's what it takes, a perfect play or a just complete breakdown of where everybody's supposed to be. So it continues to be a great storyline. I can't wait to watch more of it. It's a weird thing to say. I'm a sicko.
Can't wait to take a penalty.
God, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, well, it's not been doing so well. The power play.
Have we talked about this before? I can't recall.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've mentioned it about 40 times already.
It's killing me, dude. I can't. What's it gonna take for them to change something up? No different looks. No, little tinkering. They're just.
It's the same thing. They're sticking to it. And I said to you the other night, to you and JP and everyone, I was like, the scariest part of this is I don't think they see an issue with this, because they're scoring in more recent terms now.
Yeah.
They have not scored, but they were.
I think they recognize something's wrong. I just don't think they're probably just thinking, I don't know, they're not doing well enough, which is obviously true. They have 3 goals on the season. They're 3 for 30 right now.
10%.
I mean, everybody knows where my criticisms lie. It's a bit in personnel. It's a bit in where this personnel is placed. And it's also in systems. It's how they're setting up plays.
The break-in has frustrated
This is your thing.
For years. And it's contributed to a couple of shorthanded breaks. The one shorthanded goal they had last night, or I don't know when it was a couple of games ago. It was where Dylan Cousins tried to get the puck back to the point, and whoever was playing defense missed the puck, and they went down and scored. But that break-in where there's a drop pass in the neutral zone, and then 4 guys stand at the blue line and wait for the guy to carry the puck in, it doesn't work because the other 5 guys on the other team are standing right there with them. There's no lane to go in. There's no lane for them to break the puck in. And I know, Jonah, you probably are going to try and rip me apart on this and say it works.
I won't rip you
some
apart.
of the time. And it might work occasionally, but it just frustrates me because I've seen on a couple of occasions where either Dahlin or Power try to break it in and they fumble the puck and it goes the other way, and then they have to chase down a guy. Which, not to get off on a tangent here, but I just want to say Owen Power, he's been good. He's been decent this year.
He's been great. He's been great. Come on, man.
All right.
Come on, man. Have you seen the charts?
Have you
seen the charts?
I've seen the charts, but when I'm watching the game, he just looks. Sometimes he looks shaky with the puck, and I'm not gonna knock. He's very young. He looks shaky with the puck, and that one breakout he tried to do against the Avalanche, he threw it right to the front of the net.
It was pretty bad.
I was like, where? He wasn't pressured either. I was like, where are you going? And that almost led to the Avs scoring 5 minutes into the game. But yeah, I don't know.
He's a funny one because whenever I talk to someone, I guess, someone who's not plugged into all the advanced numbers, he is weirdly one of those players that it feels like people only see the mistakes because the things he does so well, you probably don't notice. So when he does something like that, when he makes a stupid pass, because Owen Power is not he's not a flashy player. Obviously, he doesn't have a big shot, doesn't have, these sick hands. He doesn't even have. I don't want to say he's not a great playmaker. He is, but he doesn't make flashy Patrick Kane spinorama passes. He just knows how to play the system, and his numbers are fantastic to start the year. But like I said, it is funny. It feels like he makes a play like that, and even
It's
JP
like all
the
you
one
see,
game.
Yeah.
I think it was the Montreal game was the one game he really struggled. I think he fanned on a shot late. And I remember JP was blowing up the group chat. I don't know. He's funny. But if you look at the numbers, man, he's been so good.
I believe
on both
that.
ends of the ice too.
I completely believe you. It's just you're right. It's one of those things where it's like I've seen him fumble a couple of passes. I've seen him whiff on a few shots. That breakout against Colorado, I was just kind of like frustrated at it, but yeah, I believe you. He's been a decent player to start the year, and
pretty decent.
I
might go farther.
Pretty decent.
I might go a bit farther than that, but
yeah. But
back to the power play. Back
play.
to the power play. My thing with the break-in is, look, every team does it. In my opinion, it's more of an execution thing. And I think it's honestly like it feels like they're too hesitant to get away from it. Like if a team knows they're going for the drop. Owen Power is actually someone who I think actually does really struggle with this. In the very limited power play time that the second unit will ever get, he will always drop it back. It doesn't matter if a defender's closing it off, he refuses to skate it in. And I think that applies to the first unit too. Like, Rasmus, you are probably arguably the best puck carrier on this team. If they're giving you a lane, take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
And I don't know what it is. Like, if you're playing a power play and you have the puck behind your own net and you're trying to make a breakout pass, usually there's one guy down in the zone as a chaser. And if you're going to make a pass to either side of the boards, which there usually is one of your guys on either side, that leaves the guy you're breaking the puck out to and the guy on the far side and then the two guys hanging up top going in on a 4-on-3. If you want to get away from the drop pass, because I personally think it has not been working for this team, I would say dump and chase, but that's another thing that's not working for this team
because when they dump power play.
Because when they dump and chase,
you are a hypocrite, because that is something that the Islanders would do.
Either way, when they dump and chase, they're not good at it. They're not good at it either.
They're just not good at it.
They're not good at the dump and chase. Like, the puck will get eaten up by the defender and they'll take it back out. Two guys get caught low and it comes back out the other way.
When this
just
team
headman the puck and have some guy just break the blue line. If you could break the blue line and have another guy with you, you can make a pass over to him in open space. Then you could set a play up. Just set it up. You don't, and if you're and usually when they're doing like a headman or something on the power play, usually they try and go right for the net, and if they miss the net, it's going back the other way. If they miss on a pass, defender's getting it, it's going the other way. Just go in, break it in. If you have to do a headman, do that, and set a play up. And that's when you want to set up a power play that's actually constructive, which is where I will pass it over to Jonah because I know he has a problem with this.
Well, I think I've gone into it far enough about just the personality like I've described. The only thing I will say is, I guess, a bit on the suggested changes that I tweeted out, and this was right after the Devils game, because that was really apparent where they kind of needed it. They needed something from the power play, and they didn't get it. And I just tweeted out some mock units if they wanted to get a different look. So for the first unit, I proposed Tage in a spot, Darlene QB, Tuck in front, Mitts in the bumper, and then I had Peterka on the right side. And then for the second unit, I had Skinner in front, Power quarterback, Krebs on the left wall, Cousins in the bumper, Olofsson on the right side. Now, I know, very different. My logic with that was, what have they been doing with this forward lineup the past few weeks? Spreading out the lineup between three lines, especially you saw that in the Avs game. Especially since the second power play unit is like a black hole in terms of anything. I figured they could use a little help. Looking back on it now, I think maybe I would just put Mitts back on the second unit and slide Cousins, keep him on the first unit. Anyways, my point is, I kind of want to see J.J. Paterka on the first unit. They need someone on that right side, especially someone who's a left-hand shot. I mean, I don't think it matters that much, but I think he could be a shot and playmaking threat. I don't know. Spice something up. You got to change something. They've had so much time to try and figure out ways to get Thompson open. It just isn't working. Now for a more interesting topic that comes up this week. So I don't know if you've seen, but Matthew Savoy is doing pretty darn well in the AHL.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of highlights. He looks like he's just out skating everyone down there.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not going to be able to stick around down there.
Yeah.
So this week is decision time for him.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Benson. The Sabres play 3 games this week. Doesn't mean he has to play all 3, but if Benson plays all 3 games, that's the end of his 9-game tryout. And for Matthew Savoy, the way the AHL works, you either get 5 games in the AHL, which would put he would have to be sent back down, or sent up or sent down on Friday, or it's 14 days, which would be Sunday. So either way, Savoy's done with the Amherst this weekend. What are they going to do? Theoretically, Benson plays 3 games.
You have to
make a decision.
You have to send him back to the W, right? He can't.
Here's the thing.
He can't go to the AHL.
No, he can't. Here's the thing. Theoretically, with Comrie on IR, it opens up a roster spot.
Yeah, it does.
Theoretically, you could have Matthew Savoy on this team with no other changes. Theoretically.
Do you bring up Savoy before Kulik? Kulik's been having a good time down there.
That's
too.
another thing too. I think
I
wanted to mention that
man.
when we talked about scenarios. I'm gonna say what I think is gonna happen. I think Benson plays his 3 games, and I think he goes back down to the W.
I think so too. Yeah.
He had a fantastic start. He's kind of, I don't want to say disappeared. It's funny. He leads his team in expected goals against per 60. He is their best defensive player, other than Tage Thompson, which is a hilarious statement. He's playing great defensively. The offense, that struggled to come. The points have kind of gone away. He's been bounced up and down the lineup. Regular rookie stuff. The other thing I wanted to mention, he takes a lot of penalties.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why. He's
adjusting to the speed of the game.
He's adjusting to the speed of the game, and he's, that's his play style. Pickpocketing guys, lifting sticks, giving guys little slashes to separate them from the puck. And, he's slowing down a bit. He has to be stronger. Sometimes that gets him into trouble. And I think we've seen that because he has taken quite a bit of minor penalties over this stretch. I think Benson goes down, and then I think they see what Savoy does. Savoy literally just goes in the same spot. It's the Indiana Jones swiping out the artifact for the grain of sand. Although I'm not saying Matthew Savoy is sand, because in the movie it doesn't work.
Well, yeah, he swaps out
and then the
statue for the
the bag of sand.
Yeah,
and then almost dies.
Yeah, and then
to a big rolling ball.
And then the big rolling ball is the greedy owners in the WHL. Why? So how many more seasons does Benson have to play in the W before he can be eligible for the AHL?
We've talked about this.
I can't remember.
If he plays this season, or wait, no, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, if he plays this season, he would need 1 more game.
Right, because of the COVID year.
Yeah.
That's so annoying.
So we might be here again next year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we also mentioned, like, you don't want. Like, remember when Savoy got hurt? We were like, oh, this could actually work out for the Sabres' favor a little. You don't want to see a guy get hurt, but yeah, it gave him the opportunity to have that conditioning stint after getting put on short-term IR or season-opening IR. And if he comes up and he plays really great, good. He stays. If not, then is it by the time he gets those 9 games?
That's the interesting thing.
Isn't there like Worlds going on?
Well, yeah,
after
the World Juniors is late December. it's going to be interesting to see what they do because, if you look at what Benson has gone through, playing his 6 games to this point, plus a little bit of rookie load management, it's gotten them through about a month of the season.
Yeah.
So if they did the same thing with Savoy,
they could probably bridge him to
they
the Worlds.
could probably bridge him to the World Juniors, and they could always bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about Christmas time, early January. That's when Jack Quinn is supposed to be making his way back.
Yeah.
So theoretically, you could bridge him. And you could also, let's say they get Savoy's 9 games in earlier, still decide to send him back. You have a red-hot Yuri Kulik ready to come up, who isn't anymore, but at one point was leading the AHL in points. Let's keep in mind, this kid's 19 years old. He has 9 points in his first 7 games. 6 of those are goals. He's red hot. He looks like he's ready to come back up. So even if Savoy, you have to check him out early, you have Yuri Kulik there.
You just rotate guys in and out.
It's just a big rookie
revolving door.
Yeah. So you have options. I think I've enjoyed Zach Benson's stay. We've seen something. There's much more to come. I know it's a cliche statement, but he can go back to the WHL, know what he has to work on, come back next year, probably make the team.
Mm-hmm.
The chances are. And hopefully he'll stick around the whole time next year. And even then, hopefully he'll be eligible for the AHL if there's no room for him. I'm excited to see what Matthew Savoy does.
Me too.
I didn't want to say I wasn't expecting him to do well in the AHL, but I'm glad to see he was producing, especially coming off the injury. So I am curious to see how he does in NHL action. And so we'll see how that goes. Like you said, it's gonna happen this week. This news is right on the horizon. So we're gonna have answers to those questions fairly quickly. All right. Anything else on this? Anything else on the Sabres you wanted to touch on? Anything over these past 2 games?
No, I can't think of anything else.
Shout out Jacob Bryson.
Yeah,
standing up Devin Taves at the blue line.
That was nice.
Rob Ray was getting a kick out of that.
That was nice. Hey, he's playing like
I thought
wanted to be in the lineup.
I thought he came in and played pretty well against the Avs.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing with Olofsson. Like they know their jobs are kind of on the line here.
Yeah, step it up a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really touch on the Clifton suspension.
Oh yeah, I listened to his presser about it. He obviously feels remorseful about it, but like it's just such a fast.
I really didn't think it was a suspension worthy. I don't know. I didn't see it.
If you think about it, he didn't get 2 games. He got 3 games. It happened in the first period. He missed that whole game.
Did you see his
family? 5 defensemen.
Did you see his family was in the building?
Yeah, he has like 100 people.
He's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my buddies who he's a Devils fan. He was hoping they got him in the off season because he's from there. But yeah, that's pretty wild. That one guy, the guy that tweeted out, "I'm sitting behind his entire family." He just got kicked out.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I think Heischer being the one that got hit, I think that definitely plays a factor into it. I don't think he played in the Devils' last game, so that obviously doesn't help his case. But it wasn't some malicious play. If he sits 2 games, it's not the end of the world. It was still a late hit. It was a penalty. I just maybe didn't think it deserved 2 games, but that's just me. Maybe I'm just a biased Sabres fan. Maybe. It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Well, it is what it is. He'll be back for that second game against the Flyers. So, back-to-back against the Flyers coming up.
Yeah. They're kind of rolling right now.
Yeah, I feel like that lineup is playing out of their...
Tortorella, man,
always do.
He's a goddamn magician with less.
Tortorella.
He always does less with... He always does more with less.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
He gets the best out of his players.
They're like top 10 in the league in expected goals percentage. It's crazy. Like they're playing legitimately good.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, they always play the Sabres good because,
it's the Flyers.
1-3-1 goes Burr, and
right. I might not watch
two
the
games,
next 2 games.
Yeah,
now.
2 games of
I
that.
might not watch the next 2 games.
Yeah, watch 2 games of that, not just one. You gotta watch 2.
You know what? You know what really sticks in my craw?
You know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah, these. You remember when Tortorella was all upset about Zegras doing the Michigan goal and all that? All these old coaches are like, "Oh yeah, you do that against our team, you're really gonna see what's coming to you." You guys play the most boring style of hockey known to man. All right, you're the reason some people on Twitter consider this not even a sport, and obviously they're trolling. But still, it's like, you guys need to get off your high horse and understand that this grows the game and this is fun to watch. I don't care if it's, quote, disrespectful to your goalie or if it's something else in your moral bank that you have an issue with. It's fun. It's better than your 1-3-1 crap that you run. You think I want to watch that all game? I'm going to turn friggin' golf on. I'm not going to watch that. Or I'll watch the NBA. I don't even watch the NBA.
Do you remember the Coyotes announcers when they played the Ducks? And I'm trying to remember. I don't think Zegras scored the Michigan on them, but he went for it again when they were winning late, and then like a minute later, they like attacked him. And I remember one of the announcers
I do remember what you're talking about.
I think he was a former player, kind of a grittier player. And I remember he was like, "Yeah, that'll teach them not to show them up late in the game." And it's like,
bro, I don't care.
Come on, dude.
When Sonny Milano did that, flip over the net to Zegras on us over
the other way around.
Whatever. I mean,
it all blurs
listen,
together.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me, but that was sick. Like that's cool. All right.
Unnecessary, but sick.
But it's fun. It's
fun.
fun to watch.
It's fun. It's fun.
Other than that, what else is going on?
We will avenge Zegras this week.
Yes.
This one's for him.
This one's for him.
This one's for him.
So what else is going on around the NHL right now?
Yeah, let's hop around the NHL. Did you catch any of the Frozen Frenzy?
No, I was watching the game, so I didn't really jump over to it. But it was kind of like Red Zone.
It was. They did it. They did a great job.
Did they do it?
They need to I was thinking as soon as it's over, because I'm pretty sure it's the only one this season. I'm not kidding when I say they should do that every week.
Mm-hmm.
Every week. It was. I turned the Sabres game off after they'd beaten the Senators, and I flipped it on, and I had some work to do. I didn't get a lot of work done. They did a great job. As someone who's even critical of someone like Bucci Gross when he's on commentary, but him in the studio, he's pretty good. And him and Kevin Weeks, they did really well. It was really good.
They're just flipping back and forth between games.
Yeah, and the games were all timed. They were all timed out well. Instead of having 10 games all start at 7 p.m. I was watching it. This was 2 nights later, and I was trying to watch some hockey, and 5 games were at intermission all at once. It's so frustrating. Why can't you just shift the start times 5 minutes?
I was gonna say, even if it's by 10 minutes apiece, that's all you got to do.
But it was a great job. I hope to see it come back, and I think the NHL has found it. Honestly, it might be better than Red Zone just because there's always goals happening,
yeah,
and you will always find something to flip to.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be better in the regard that you're always going to a new game. But yeah, that was great. Why don't we hop over to our buddies in Ottawa?
Again, we're going back to Ottawa.
Just making so many headlines this week. So many. Let's start with Shane Pinto. We already knew that this contract dispute was getting weird. Then he gets suspended 41 games.
Did not see that coming at all. Actually, not even being sarcastic. I'm just I thought Dorian put a hit out on him. They were yeah, make a FanDuel account in his name or something. That's insane. And I guess it wasn't even NHL games he was betting on.
Which begs the question, what did he do?
Yeah, it's they don't have a rule against you betting on sports.
As long as you're not in team facilities.
Yeah.
You have to bet on your own time, I think.
Yeah.
So what did he do? And he accepted the settlement quickly. He came out with a statement and said, "I know what I did wrong, yada yada yada. I apologize."
Oh, he accepted the Sens offer.
No.
For
He because the NHL, the Players Association,
ruling. Okay.
the Players Association could have fought this, and I'm kind of left wondering why they didn't. I mean, especially, the NHL, I think it would be naive to say they don't encourage betting. You see it every commercial break. You see it. Marty and Duffer are sending out their bets every single Sabres game.
There's parlays at every intermission, and Shane Pinto and the Ottawa Senators organization has 99 bets.
Bet 99,
advertisement on their helmet.
On the damn helmets. And I think he's 23 years old. Like, he's us. He's an impressionable young man.
The irony is just, it's palpable, man. It's crazy. It's like, I feel like the NHL is almost like, I'm not breaking its own rule, but it's just like, it just seems so unnecessary.
And 41 games.
Yeah.
When's the last time we've seen that type of suspension?
Rafi Torres.
I was going to say, that's like the only one that comes to mind. And 41 games, Connor Clifton I don't want to say he bashed someone's head in, but he kind of nearly concussed one of the better players in the league, and that's 2 games. You send out a $5 anytime, a Jeff Skinner anytime goal scorer bet, and suddenly you're out of the league for 41 games, or not even that. Just, I don't know, you bet Josh Allen over 3.5 touchdowns, and then you're done for half the season.
Yeah, I don't understand. Honestly, I don't understand the appeal of sports betting, especially if you're a professional athlete. I get maybe, you're in Vegas, you want to go to the casino or something, but I mean, and it's easier said than done, obviously, but I mean, I feel pretty confident if I was an NHL player, I wouldn't bet. I barely bet now, and I enjoy watching the games, but I guess everybody's different and to each their own, but yeah, that sucks for the Senators. I mean, maybe it's good for them. Maybe they can get him signed to
I think it's
deal.
good because now he's going to have to take a very small salary, and they're not going to have to trade Matthew Joseph or part with one of their first round. Well, they might have to part with one of their first round picks. We'll get to that. But they won't have to trade Tyler Boucher, Eric Brandstrom. They won't have to do that now. So it's kind of Pierre Dorian kind of lucked out that I don't know, maybe he did. Maybe he had somebody go out and make an account in Shane Pinto's name because this seems all too convenient. But no, it seems like Pinto, somewhere along the line, he screwed up.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at too.
But that's not where the news ends.
No. Yeah, Dorian may have shot himself in the foot on this one.
Once again. So does everybody remember that Evgeny Dodonov fiasco at last year's deadline where Vegas tried to trade him to Anaheim, and apparently there was they forgot that he had a no trade clause and he had to stick with Vegas? Well, apparently it was the Ottawa Senators' fault because I was listening to Elliot Friedman today. What he said was when Vegas acquired Dodonov from Ottawa, they asked Ottawa if there was any trade protection they needed to be made aware of, and Ottawa didn't give it to him. So Vegas tries to trade him to Anaheim, and Dodonov's agents rightfully say, we have trade protection, and then Vegas gets the blame for it, like it's their fault. And I don't know why it's taken so long to get here, but it seems like Ottawa might get penalized for it, and there's rumors it might be a first-round pick.
Talk about burning a bridge if you're the Senators, though, too.
That's like a fireable offense.
Easily, yeah. And the fireable offense, it gets better. Well, in Ottawa's case, it gets worse because they're talking about, quote, the streets have implied that Pierre Dorian might be out the door soon for Peter Chiarelli.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, my God,
That's
yes.
what I was wondering, yeah.
Yes.
That's why I was asking you earlier. I was like, did that ever... I texted in the group chat. I was like, did that ever happen?
Well,
I feel like it just kind of fell
apparently
off the
the
face
new
of the earth.
owner, or maybe it was the president of Hockey Ops, maybe it was Steve Stajos. I think it was the owner. I forget the owner's name. Apparently Chiarelli's been close with him throughout the whole selling process. So, man, Peter Chiarelli. That would be something. Going from Pierre Dorian to Peter Chiarelli. Yeah. On top of all that, now they're starting to struggle a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they started out 3-1, quickly went to
4-4.
4-4 now. So they're not exactly out of the woodworks yet.
No, but yeah, it's a lot of craziness happening in Ottawa right now. I hope it keeps up. It's entertaining.
It is entertaining. I mean, seriously, we went from a gambling suspension to Peter Chiarelli might be back in the NHL to they might be fined a first-round pick all in a week. God damn, this is fun.
It is fun.
It's fun. You know, when they were talking about Ryan Reynolds taking over that team and being more in the limelight, I don't know if this is what they had in mind. All right, moving on. I think we're going to introduce a new segment here. Christian, I'll just let Christian take it away, man.
I think we're going to have a new segment on this show going forward. It might not be every single episode, but every so often we'll check in on this. In this episode, we're going to introduce a new segment called This Team Stanks. And for this week's segment of This Team Stanks, we have the San Jose Sharks. Boy, what a mess. 0-8-1 in their first 9 games. That's got to be, what was Vancouver last year? What was their start? They were like 0-something, and so they weren't as bad.
It was not as bad. It was more so, I think it was like the first 5 games, they blew multi-goal leads in every game. It was not this.
And there was also the Boudreau.
Yeah, the Boudreau thing was going
was
on.
going
It was more of a spectacle, I guess you could say. But this is just depressing.
But my goodness, San Jose. Like, I know, like, Erik Karlsson leaving must have been Timo Meier, but Erik Karlsson, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It is not good out there in Northern California. It is. Who do they have on defense? Anybody?
Mario Ferraro is like their number 1 defenseman.
That's not good. And I think they have Eklund. Who else? Do
they have Eklund's on
Eklund?
The team. Yeah, let's play a game. Who's leading their team in points? It's an obvious name.
Couture?
No, good guess, but no. Is he hurt right now? He's not up here. He might be hurt right now. I don't know. The other guy who signed long term. Kind of made Marty Baron look stupid when he was 19 years old. Went through the legs.
What? Went through the legs?
Tomas Hertl.
Oh, yeah.
Through the legs goal.
Yeah, Tomas Hertl. Yeah.
But here's the question. Who's second on their team in points?
Well,
3 points in 9 games.
My guess would have been Eklund, but I'm pretty sure
he's
not
third
him.
with 2.
In 9 games. Come on, guys.
I'll give you a hint. He was in the Timo Meier trade.
Oh, so he's coming back from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Who did they get in that trade? Oh, my God.
You're not going to get it.
No, I know
it's
I'm not
Fabian Zetterlund.
Who?
2 goals and an assist for 3 points.
Oh, my goodness.
Second on the team. Yeah, that team.
Oh, man.
For lack of a better word, that team stinks.
Talk about a fall from grace from 2017. They were so close.
They were.
And it was all downhill from there pretty much. But yeah, maybe we'll come back to that segment at some point. It's cool. Like any team that's on like a, maybe a cold stretch or just bad in general, we'll bring them up.
Okay. Let's hop into some questions. Okay. First question. This one is from Marvel Marco 1. Is JJ Peterka the best German hockey player?
Absolutely he is.
I would say so.
I don't know who the name of that guy in Edmonton is anymore.
Who
is that?
He's off to such a great start.
He's been fantastic.
He's been awesome. Especially like he started the season with Cousins, but even recently he's kind of been in more of a, I don't want to say a depth role, but they haven't been giving him like all the opportunity in the world. He's just running with what he has.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see. He's having the breakout season we wanted him to see.
Yeah.
So props to him. Okay, so these next 2 are both from Brook 1. He asks, what can the Sabres do to push games into overtime to get the minimum 1 point? I'll tell you. Get saves.
Yep.
Pretty much. Get saves.
The team defense has been great. Defense as a whole has been great.
It's been better.
It's been better.
It's been better.
But
to us, it seems great.
Yeah,
it seems great. I mean, it is. The breakdowns are less they don't need to be shut down. They can be better. You saw it against the Avalanche. They just needed to be good. Hopefully the goaltending can just take care of the rest. It's a more balanced brand of hockey. But to get the 1 point, you kind of need saves.
I think it also varies from game to game. Some of the time, I think that the issue was them putting the puck in the net to get that minimum 1 goal. Sometimes you're down a goal and you need one, and sometimes you just need to play shutdown defense, dare I say, Islander hockey to get to that overtime, especially if your back is against the wall and you're just getting hounded. But, getting saves is a good start.
And they also ask, are people overly worried about the Sabres' performance this early in the season?
I was a little bit worried, but that worry has gone away. Just based off the last few games, again, it's gonna be we've said it a ton of times, a roller coaster of a season. But no, I'm less worried now. It's a loaded Eastern Conference, and I know if you're looking at the standings, you see that we're in 9th.
The Bruins are 8-0-1, man. I know it's a cupcake schedule they've had. They've played Chicago twice. They've played San Jose once. They played Anaheim twice, even though they lost to them. They just go away, man. Go show a little bit of regression. But you're right. It's just a loaded conference. But I think there was cause for concern when all of a sudden their offense just fell off the face of the earth. But you have 4 games now where they've scored 4 or more goals. So that's at least coming back. And with those performances, the defense really hasn't gone away. So that's encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you're seeing more. I'm not worried anymore. Let's put it that way. I'm beginning to believe again.
Yeah, if they play the way they do against Colorado most nights, they're going to win a bunch of games. And, it does suck being in the Eastern Conference, especially looking at the West when you got teams like San Jose out there. I was looking at it today, actually. Like, if the Sabres are in the West, they'd be a point out of a wild card spot right now. I mean, there's still, like, a couple out right now, but it's, like, 8 points, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11.
I haven't even... I like, when they were below 500 last year, like, I don't look at playoff standings until they're over 500. There's just no point to me.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it is probably... Yeah, I would imagine it's very condensed right now.
It's extremely condensed.
Okay, last one. So, Atross 74. This is an interesting one. Should they go full-time goat head? They're a different team, man. They're a different team.
Listen, I love the goat head. Don't get me wrong. I love the goat head, but no. The royal blue and the gold, it's too much of a classic. I get the stigma that's going around saying that, oh, they're a different team when they play in the red and black. Rasmus Stalin says they feel dangerous. They feel evil playing in those jerseys. But no, I like the royal blue and the gold too much. And maybe I get that from my dad, who hates the goat head jerseys.
Really?
He thinks they're ugly. And they have really good nostalgia to them. I mean, they're solid jerseys.
They're good
but
jerseys.
I get what everyone was making a fuss about back in the day when they changed, because if you take a first look at the logo, you're just like, what is that?
I used to think it was like a dragon.
Yeah.
Like you know how it kind of curves like a C?
Mm-hmm.
I thought the face was like to the left.
Yeah.
I couldn't look at it for years.
That's interesting.
So I understand it. I think now it's more defined. So hopefully there's no confusion, but yeah.
Again, no. My personal opinion, I guess I'm a kind of a jersey purist in this one. I love the classic royal blue and gold. I'm so glad they went back to those colors. I was such a hater of the navy blue for a long time. I hated it, especially especially when they had the weird gray piping and the pit stains on them too. On the white jerseys too. What are you doing? Those are ugly.
Those damn Reebok templates were so bad.
It was awful.
I can't believe Washington is still rocking them to this day.
Oh, they are.
They still have. They
They
still have the
weird,
Reebok.
They still have the weird patch
They
underneath
still
the
have the
arms and-
Reebok templates.
Ugh, it's gross. Yeah, getting a little off topic, but the Arizona Cardinals, they were using the Reebok template up until like last year. You
Really?
remember when they had like the weird red little like
Oh yeah.
triangle down
Yeah,
here, like a
yeah.
weird triangle, and like the jerseys were all weirdly mismatched with
Yep.
colors. Just so butt ugly. Like, Reebok, get out of here. Like, you're terrible at making jerseys. And then the Cardinals, they went to like kind of like their old school look, but kind of revamped modern. So much better
Yeah.
by a landslide. And the same thing goes with the Sabres. Like, when they changed back to the royal blue, it's what everyone wanted for a long time. And I think the performance on the ice in the jerseys they have in do not correlate as much as you people think.
I don't know, man. They you want to talk about a team that stinks? They stank in the royal blue jersey. It's bad. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Maybe it's just bad luck. I don't know. It's
It's one of those things.
Nothing to do with the jerseys.
I think that's what makes the goat head so special, is that it only comes out for special occasions, or not special occasions, but it only comes out every once in a while.
Like, if they're at the end of the year and they need a win to get into the playoffs, then you wear the goat
We're gonna
head. Wear them.
Some of you might not know, JP and myself, we're Red Sox fans, and if there's any Red Sox fans listening, then it's kind of the same thing with their City Connect jerseys. They're like 20-2 in them all time.
Is that the
yellow
blue and
ones?
the
Yellow ones. When they were pushing for the playoffs back in 2021, they were flexing games. Like, they were wearing those jerseys because they couldn't lose. So yeah, if we get late in the season and the goat head is powering them to a playoff position, do it. But full time, nah. Like you said, the royal blue, it's always been their best look. I wouldn't mind seeing the white goat head thrown in the rotation if they wanted to.
If you say thrown in the rotation, they can't just make a jersey mid-season.
No, well, I just mean like for the future.
Oh, okay, for the future. For the future, I'd rather do them like a royal blue slug.
Yeah.
If they do another, I know Adidas did the reverse retro
It'll be,
stuff.
yeah, we'll see what Fanatics plans to do.
Yeah. Ugh. We'll see what they plan to do. That'd be cool. I wouldn't want to see that as a full-time thing, though. Like, I would just maybe a season or so, and then that's it. Get rid of it. Retire it.
Maybe Devin Cooley's teasing us. Maybe he knows
Maybe
something
he is.
we
Maybe
don't.
he does know.
That was pretty cool that he gave a shout out to the slug.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready for the shitstorm that he just walked into.
Right.
Did you see him in that interview? He was like, I had no idea people were gonna give me that much backlash.
It does look good on a goalie mask, though. You know what I've always hated? I've always hated the original logo on the goalie mask.
The OG one?
Yeah, it looks so
I think it's
bad.
tough to get on there.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite goalie mask of all time, and for, I mean, maybe obvious reasons.
I'm going to guess it's the Miller one.
Yes.
Which one?
The blue one.
Blue one?
Not like the red and black one was cool, but the blue one's, I
Yeah.
think it's cooler because it has some red in it, too, so it's really, like, bright colors. And UPL kind of did a spin-off of it. I think that's a solid mask. Something that incorporates the whole head. But when it's like, like a weird, like, remember when Olmark did the Minions mask
thing?
Like, that was kind of fun.
I think it was also funny. He wasn't going for style points. He was just doing his own thing.
But like when some goalies have the just like the Sabres logo on the side, like the classic one, it just it doesn't look good. Geometrically, it doesn't look good to me.
I think it's just a tough one to fit on there.
Comrie has the goat head on the side of his. That looks nice. I like that. And you might hate me for this, but you know whose mask I also did like?
Which one?
Robin Leonard's white and gray one that he wore.
I'm gonna have to look at that real quickly.
I love that. It was like kind of like a stencil mask. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, to summarize, no, I don't think that the black and red should be the mainstay.
Would you be surprised if maybe they did a rebrand back to that?
No, I wouldn't, but I wouldn't like it.
No, I wouldn't either. Their away jerseys, like, for me, as a biased Sabres fan, probably the best in the league for me.
Those should be their home jerseys. The NHL needs to go back.
I've never been big on that.
No?
No. I think the only time I've agreed like they should wear white at home is only like when Winnipeg does the white out during the playoffs. I think it looks weird if they're wearing like their dark jerseys.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've always thought like it was kind of I don't know. I think it's an overrated opinion.
I think it's interesting. And my dad gave me this rationale one time. It's because, like, if you're a season ticket holder and you go to most games, when you go to the games, your team always wears the white, and then you get to see whatever colors the other team gets to wear. So you get to see a new rotation of colors every single time,
but like,
which
it's
is
still
cool.
still the same though. You're still seeing different colors on the away jerseys. I get that. My thing has always been like, they should, because you know why white and dark jerseys were kind of created. It was because you needed, like,
to distinguish both teams.
Back on black and white TV, they had to distinguish what team was which.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you look at like the Maple Leafs Red Wings outdoor game, the one in it was in Michigan, right? It was in their stadium. The game with
the one in the big house.
With 100,000 people in it.
Yeah.
It was a blue versus red game.
Red. Yeah.
I would be fine if they did that. Like, okay, you have your white jersey for maybe when you play. You know, if the Sabres play like Tampa Bay or something, or the Leafs, you know, then you do a blue and a white. But, you know, if the Sabres are playing Washington, you know, there's an obvious distinction there.
If it's too extremely not complimentary, what is it when it's complete? I don't know what the actual artist terminology
is. Yeah, did you fail?
is.
I failed art class too.
I probably did.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Which I'm a digital media major, so that's kind of not a good sign.
Whatever, like whatever the opposite color on the spectrum is. So if it's like if the Sabres are wearing blue, let's say they're playing does any team wear
Anaheim?
orange?
Anaheim?
Oh yeah, Anaheim.
Yeah,
if they're playing
Anaheim.
Anaheim on the road and they wear blue and orange, that's perfect. If the Hurricanes are in Dallas, green and red.
Mm-hmm.
And then if does any team wear purple?
Kings?
The Kings,
sometimes.
like,
I don't even know if they
throwback
wear
jersey?
that. I'm not even sure if they're wearing that this season.
The Kings need to go
They
back
need to bring
the
that
purple.
back.
The purple's so much nicer.
It's not even that it's nice. It's just different. Like, no other team does it.
Even the team in the jerseys in the 2000s with the actual crown on it with the purple.
Yeah,
that's
never too
so
hot.
much.
I thought that
better
looked
than-
like a roller jersey with the stuff at the. It was like the Cardinals thing at the bottom of the jersey. It's kind of the same stuff.
I thought it was better than their black and white ones. Like the black and white ones were
Well,
nice
yeah, they're
in the
just
90s.
bland. They're
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the '90s ones or
no,
the current
no,
ones?
the current ones.
Yeah, those ones are just kind of bland.
Yeah. So
if they did like a '90s but purple, like they did with the reverse retros, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's say the Kings or the Predators play, and there's two
Yeah.
opposite colors right
Yeah.
there.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, we got off topic there.
Thanks for the question, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, they really got us on a little tangent there. I hope hopefully some Jersey nerds kind of, or goalie mask nerds.
Yeah, I'm a Jersey nerd, so if you have
Yeah.
any questions, direct them at me.
Yes, you are. All right, I think we've rambled on long enough. Just to quickly recap, the Sabres play in Philly on Wednesday. Philly is in Buffalo on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we play the Maple Leafs on Saturday.
That's at home, right?
No, that's in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
And so I would assume, might be my best guess, that might be a Hockey Night in Canada game.
Probably, yeah.
So, yeah. I just want to check. I'm trying to check when their next game is. They're in Carolina on Tuesday, so we'll probably speak to you after the Maple Leafs game. Hopefully this 3-game stretch has gone well. Hopefully they get a streak going. They haven't won consecutive games this year yet.
Nope.
It's just been, I think the last 7 games it's been back and forth. They haven't done consecutive anything since losing the first 2 games. So hopefully that goes well. Hopefully that would put them back over 500 for the first time this season. But other than that, if you want to follow us on Twitter, follow us at the Sabre Report. Follow us on Instagram at the Sabre Report. Follow us on TikTok. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Get updates for the pod at Sabre Report Pod. And other than that, that'll wrap up this episode of the Sabre Roundtable. See you guys later. Go Sabres.
Go Sabres.